In several parishes, hospitalizations from COVID are on the rise, paired with plateauing vaccination numbers. Devin Bartolotta reports from Tangipahoa Parish, where one hospital anticipates both the death toll and the vaccination rate will climb.
The COVID risk is back to its highest, and hospital beds are filling up in southeast Louisiana. At North Oaks Health Center in Hammond, the number of COVID patients has doubled over the last 2 weeks.
We saw almost all the parishes in southeast Louisiana double their rate of both the percent positivity and the incidence. Unfortunately, what concerns me as a chief medical officer is that over the past 3 spikes we've had, we're about 2 to 3 weeks after we see those numbers going up that our hospital tends to see the large numbers of patients.
Dr. Robert Peltier says nearly all of their COVID patients never got the vaccine. Only about 1/3 of the North Shore region has. Tangipahoa is one of the least vaccinated parishes at 29.4%, and 9.9% of COVID tests are coming back positive. To compare, Orleans Parish is more than 50% vaccinated with a positivity rate under 4%.
What we don't see in general is the unvaccinated person needing serious medical care, including ICU care, ventilator. And of the people that have died at our facility in the past few months, all of them have been unvaccinated.
All of them?
Yes.
As the more powerful Delta variant charges through Louisiana, North Oaks is prepping for another spike in COVID patients and just maybe more demand for the vaccine.
I hope it encourages some people that are on the fence to learn more about the vaccine and make a decision that's good and right for them.
In Hammond, Devin Bartolotta, Eyewitness News.
You can still get the vaccine at nearly any pharmacy or health center, and you can make an appointment at North Oaks online at covidvaccine.northoaks.org.